What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back again with some more player ratings for you guys as Spurs beat Hearts 5-1 in Tynecastle in our first pre-season game of the 24-25 season. We have an extensive player ratings for you, as I think there was over 24 players who performed in this fixture. To divulge into every player, we have the great Brian Daigle with us to dissect every single player that played at Tynecastle. Lovely to have you once again, Brian.
Always a pleasure to be spending time with We Are Tottenham TV and the We Are Tottenham TV family.
Big up. All right, so without further ado, let's get straight into it. And deep breath. First one is Brandon Austin. Sevens all round. A solid opening display. Obviously made that brilliant save, didn't he, from Oda in that first half. A really brilliant reaction save from Brandon Austin. And there's a lot of talk now. Is he going to be our number 2 for next season? What do you reckon, Brian?
So, first of all, I think what I've been wanting to say is I don't think enough is being spoken about that save. If that had been a Vicario or a first choice goalkeeper in the season, that save would be on replays all over the place and discussing how good a save that was. First of all, it looked offside, but it wasn't. So he had to be on his guard. It was a tremendous reflex save. And he's got a claim. I was talking with Ben about this yesterday. It's like, do we send him out on loan for first team minutes ready to be number 2 next season? Or you're giving him a 5-year contract? Is he the number 2 now? Surely he'll get some more first team minutes on the tour and pre-season. So I think he's got this time to show what he can do. But it was, like I said, I think that save needs to be given the credit that it's due, because I don't think enough people are saying how great that save was.
Yeah, it was a wonderful save from Brandon Austin there. Be interesting to see what role he does play in the future, considering he did sign that 5-year deal. Is he just come here to play that kind of, Scott Carson, Rob Green, homegrown goalkeeper role who'll just sit the bench for the next 5 years? Or is there genuine confidence that he can actually be a number 2 keeper and actually be trusted if there is an injury to Vicario? So that'll be quite interesting to see what we do. But brilliant save it was. Didn't have very much to do throughout the game, but the one thing he did do was definitely memorable. Next one, Pedro Porro, a right back, 6s all round. Wasn't his best game. I thought there were some moments of quality from him on the right-hand side. He put in some decent crosses into the box, which on another day might have been gobbled up, but unfortunately they weren't. But he did look a bit rusty on the day, and there were some loose passes, some simple passes which he got wrong, and didn't look completely 100% on his game.
Yeah, completely agree. Listen, we all know he'll be fit and razor sharp by the start of the season. Had the summer off, obviously not being in Spain. Started the game, nothing to report home from, both on the positive or negative. A couple of loose change pass, but 6s all round, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, we're going to talk about Archie Gray. I gave him a 9. Brian gives him an 8, playing in an unfamiliar centre-back position. I thought he looked so confident, composed and assured in that position. And not only did he look comfortable in that position, I thought he excelled in that position, which was really, really encouraging. Some really good perfectly timed tackles, some really good progressive passing as well. Really good first outing in a Tottenham shirt for Archie Gray.
Yeah, the star of the first half, without a doubt. The only reason I knocked him down that one mark was, like I said earlier in the roundup of the game of the review, is there was a couple of times where he just misplaced or misjudged the flight of a ball. But apart from that, everything going forward was great. And what I love seeing is the way he went into the tackle at centre back as well. He looks fierce in the challenge, and delighted to see such a commanding performance from him.
Yeah, and shows he can play multiple positions as well, and he just looks so comfortable on the pitch. It was such a great first game for Archie Gray. His centre-back partnership was Ollie Skip. I gave him a 5, Brian gave him a 6. I don't think he did too much wrong, but I don't think he looked as comfortable as Archie Gray. I don't think his passing was as good. I thought he was being caught out a bit more than Gray on that side. But again, look, he's in an unfamiliar position. I don't hold it too much against him, but he was shown up a bit by his defensive partner, I thought.
Yeah, without a doubt, it was shown up by Archie Gray, which wouldn't even say it was a surprise. It's a position he's not familiar with. You know what you're going to get with Ollie Skip. And I gave him a 6. I gave him the extra point just for simply playing out of position.
Yeah, fair enough. Left back Jamie Donnelly. We both gave him sevens. I thought he looked really comfortable on the ball. I thought he made some really good passes. I was really encouraged by his confidence to get forward. He got to the byline a few times, got some really good passes across the face of goal, and wasn't shy about getting on the ball. I did think a lot of Hart's good play did come down that side, and it's not a big surprise considering Donnelly's not a defender, but he also did put some blocks in, didn't he, Donnelly? It's a shame we didn't see him a bit further up the pitch in terms of his more natural position, albeit he did have some opportunities to get on the ball in those forward positions anyway. But what did you think of Donnelly in those 45 minutes?
So obviously we heard that he did this in the behind the closed doors game against Cambridge. And obviously then the news broke out about Destiny not being fit. And it looks like Ange has seen him maybe being at the moment until maybe a replacement comes in, or if Van der Ven goes back there and we go to Dragusin and Romero in the middle, that he likes this idea of Jamie Donnelly playing the same way as Destiny. And like you said, Hart's attacked down that side, which was going to be an obvious thing rather than Porro that they'd attack that side. And yeah, he needs to work on his defensive duties, but that isn't where I think Tottenham see him in the mainstay. They will see it more advanced, and he is so confident and silky on the ball, isn't he? We all know the amount of assists he got last season, and he's the main thing was him gaining experience in this position. If this is what Ange is going to do with Destiny out, and it was a solid performance for the first half he was on.
Yeah, and I think to his credit, similar to Gray, maybe didn't look as comfortable at left back as Gray did at centre back, but I actually thought he did do quite well in that position, looked fairly accomplished and did a decent job. So fair play to Donnelly. Next up, Yves Bissouma. I gave him a 7. Brian gives him a 6. I thought he did pretty well in his first outing. I thought he looked confident. He was striding past players. He was passing the ball forward. There were some loose touches there in general, but I thought he did okay. What did you make out of Bissouma?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think he did okay. This season we should be demanding a lot more from Bissouma, a lot more. We all want to see what we saw at the beginning of the season. Not saying he can just turn it on and be like that all season, but I really wanted to see, especially with some of the youngsters around him, Bissouma go, right, listen, I'm going to help you and guide you through this game, and I'm going to be there. And he just wasn't that commanding Bissouma. I'm expecting a lot more from him this season, and I was a little bit disappointed with his display.
Fair enough. Next up, James Maddison. We both gave him 8s. I thought he had a really good, strong showing. James Maddison was at the hub of a lot of our good football. Some really good crisp passing, really great assist for the goal as well, which was a good comeback for Brennan Johnson. And I thought he did a really good job knitting the play together, creating opportunities, creating problems for Hearts. And I thought recovered well from a really bad tackle on his ankle as well midway through the half.
Yeah, I think that tackle actually sparked him into life. He was getting into bits. Some of his passing was a little bit sloppy before that, but then he kind of sparked into life. And if there's a guy that's starting this season that wants to, especially with the New England manager incoming, who wants to get off to a fast start and impress and prove the doubters wrong after a poor second half of the season through form and injuries, it's James Maddison. And he got heavily involved in the latter parts of the game and was key to the goal, obviously. So a good performance from Madders.
Yeah, really. Let's hope he can carry this form into the new season. On the right-hand side of the midfield was Kulusevski. Both gave him a 7. I actually liked his performance. I thought he did some really good stuff in the centre of the park. He used his body really well. I actually think he looked a lot better playing on that right-hand side rather than left-hand side, where he can kind of like cut in on his left foot and go either way. Did really well for the goal. Really brilliant flick into Maddison's path. And I thought he did a really good flick into Sonny as well, who should have scored and made it 1-0 before that moment. There were some moments which were a bit frustrating, but I thought all in all, he actually looked really good in that position. I was really encouraged by that.
Yes, I mean, Simeon, as you know, you and I have had many debates over Kulusevski, and was speaking about him with you when I was last on. I think Don't get me wrong, the flick for Madison was incredible. That was genius. That was wonderful play. And some of the things I loved in his game was his pressing. Um, his movement was good, but these are things obviously that I've accredited Kulusevski with being very good at anyway. But the bits where I come for him or I say that I'm frustrated with him is obviously his checking in on his right hand onto his left, his slowing down of the game, and he did do that occasionally. He really did, but it was a lot more positive than what we've seen, and I was very, very impressed with his pressing in the latter part of that game. So delighted to be able to give him a 7 and speak positively about him.
I always feel like, for me, Decky, when we play him in centre mid, I actually think this is a better position for him than the number 10. I think having a creative player next to him where he doesn't have that sole creative burden, and then he also have that bit more physicality about him. I want to see him more in that number 8 position if we're going to play him centrally, in my opinion. Next up, we got Brennan Johnson on the right wing. I gave him an 8. Brian gives him a 7. Obviously got his goal, well taken. It seems to be a trademark run now for Brennan Johnson on that side. I thought he did really well on the right hand side, looking really confident, getting in some really good positions as well, and he's got some good goal scoring form at the moment for Spurs in pre-season.
He certainly has, and like I said, I'm a big fan of his, and I'm thinking this is a big season ahead of him. What I did like seeing is a lot of his crosses went into the dangerous areas. All right, we didn't have a recognised striker or on-running player to go there, but instead of going to the first man or out for a goal kick or whatever, they were getting into the positions. And as you said, one of the things Ange loves is, or football managers in general, if the ball is on one side, the other winger to make that dart, to be in the area. If the striker doesn't get it, you're there. And he is making a bit of a reputation for doing this. And by no mean feat, that goal wasn't an easy finish. That was not an easy finish. Ball fizzed in, volley into the net. And let's see more of this, Brennan Johnson. But 4 goals in 2 games, doesn't matter who you played, is not a bad start to the season.
Yeah, definitely. And if he can start adding more goals to his game, I think, we could really start to see him explode next season. Let's hope so anyway. Next up, in the striker position, we've got Heung-min Son. Both gave him a 7. Bit of a hot and cold game, but when he was on it, he was looking sharp. He was looking really good. He did this really delightful flick into Porro, who had a really good opportunity. He blazed over the bar. I thought there was this moment where he danced his way into the penalty area after a flick from Kulusevski. That was a really good moment, which he should have buried, really, but it was a really good tip over from Gordon. But he was quiet in some other moments, wasn't he, Sonny? So I thought a bit of a mixed game from him, but the good stuff was good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one word, the word I would use to describe his performance was he was a nuisance to Hearts. He was doing a lot of running around for the team, a lot of closing down. He had that opportunity that he should have taken. And I think if that game was first game of the season at Leicester, he puts that away. Obviously, he's got the minutes in his legs and everything. But yeah, he was a nuisance. But he did have some quiet spells in it, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Unfortunately, look, maybe that's a consequence of him playing up front. We have to wait and see. A lot of people think he should be out on the left, but that's a debate for another time. Manor Solomon on the left wing. I gave him a 5. Brian gives him a 6. I thought he looked rusty. I thought he was giving the ball away a lot. Didn't have too many moments of quality. There was one moment where he did find Sonny in behind and Sonny took a bad touch. So that could have been an assist if Sonny did a bit better there. But I actually found him cutting quite a frustrating figure on the day.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you've just said. The only way, and the reason I've given him is the extra point is, again, like we said in the review just now, having him and Johnson on the wing, and it's just pace, that already gets defenders concerned. And some of his running with the ball and his movement off it was good, but his actual use of the ball was not. Obviously, he was out for a majority of last season through injury, and we need to see better from Manor. Whether he's staying, whether he's going, he needs to put in better performances. But I was impressed with his running with the ball. It was just his use of it that was frustrating.
Yeah, and I think he's going to need to improve with the season coming up. Nick, all right, we're going to move to the second half now. That was just the first half. There was wholesale changes at half time. And obviously the game was 1-0 at half time. So we'll go into the second half now. After the first one is Alfie Whiteman. Had very little to do in that second half. I think he made one save. It was a comfortable save. But not much to talk about here with Alfie Whiteman.
Yeah, and let's face it, he could do nothing with the goal. We all know whose fault that was, and it literally didn't give him enough time to be ready. But yeah, like you said, he really did not have much to do, did he?
No, it didn't. Wasn't really a game where he could show off exactly what he's all about. Right back, Jed Spence. We both gave him 9s. A phenomenal performance from Jed down their right-hand side. Ended up with a goal with a really good finish at the back post, obviously tapping home a cross of Werner. And I thought that whole half, every time he got on the ball, he was making things happen. He was running down the right-hand side, picking up really difficult positions, and was also very aggressive. Pressing, getting challenges in, and he barely put a foot wrong that whole half. It was a really, really good half for Jed Spence.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, all right, he got his goal, but I think the assist for Lankshear, was it Lankshear's goal? He got the assist for, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yes, the first one, yeah.
Yeah, just that weight of pass was something James Maddison would have been proud of. It was a wonderfully weighted pass, and some of his passing and his movement was exceptional, in all honesty. A performance we'd been waiting to see and hoped we'd seen. And boy, did he put it on. Yes, we can say it's only Hearts, but that's a guy that had to come on and show that he's got something and he's going to fight. And boy, did he put his gloves on ready to fight.
Yeah, really, really encouraging. And as you say, that way of pass was brilliant because Lankshear didn't even have to take a touch, did he? Just had to strike it first time, right into his path, and it was really, really great. And it was brilliant from Spencer. I'm really hoping he can prove now that he's ready to get opportunities at Tottenham. But we'll have to wait and see. It's all the balls in his court now to just keep playing like this, and we'll see where that leads. Next up, Ashley Phillips at centre-back, 8s all round. Obviously did end up getting on the score sheet. I thought looked really comfortable at centre-back as well. Looked very commanding. Anything that over the top or near him, he was gobbling up for fun. I thought it was a really accomplished display from Ashley Phillips.
Yeah, with Ashley Phillips, he came on. And do you know what? As soon as he came on the pitch, the first thing you realise is the sheer size and presence of the man. He is an absolute unit. Got on the score sheet, and I think this shows obviously had the great loan move at Plymouth. People have been speaking about him, and he's just put a marker down, and thoroughly enjoyed actually watching him properly for 45 minutes at Spurs, and hopefully we see more of him in the Far East.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to him. Hopefully him coming on the tour and him showing what he's all about. His centre-back partner, probably less so, in Emerson Royale, gave him 5s all round. Poor goal conceded by him in the opening exchanges of that first half. Dallying on the ball, loose pass, getting caught in possession, and Hearts obviously went on to score. I mean, other than that, he didn't do too much wrong, but then again, he didn't have too much to do, I felt, after that moment. But that moment is definitely what sticks out in the mind when thinking of him.
Oh, with that, I mean, if you look at it, if there's a player that's up for sale, that Spurs fans majority want to see go so we get better, the last thing you want to do is come on straight away and make a howler within the first minute of being on. And boy, was it a howler. I don't even know what he was trying to do. And to tell you the truth, since that moment, I can't remember a single thing he did because it was more the attacking players that took over. But it really was not. It was probably the worst thing that could have happened to him, and just goes to show why there are people wanting him to be out the door as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think so as well. On the left-hand side, we got Robson, 7 for me, 6 for Brian. I thought he looked quite comfortable, accomplished, had some really nice touches. I was liking the look of him, was getting involved in the play. I don't think he did too much in a way of creating chances or anything like that, but I thought he just was a really good part of the team and was keeping the ball pretty well. So I gave him a 7.
Yeah, for me, like you said, he did the things you said, but I don't recall myself personally seeing anything that was like stood out for me to go, oh my God, I remember Robson did this. a player I didn't know anything about, in all honesty, when it comes to the youth team. And it's good to see these players getting some minutes. And yeah, nothing I could really still to this moment I can remember is like what Robson did that. Yeah, that was good from. I can't remember, so I couldn't go higher than a 6.
Fair enough. In the number 6 position, we got Tyrese Hall, who played the second half, 7th all round. I thought he looked really comfortable, actually. Was actually getting the ball, doing some really nice dribbles. I think when he starts weaving in and out of players, he's hard to stop, isn't he? Tyrese Hall. He looks like a real quality player. Another player where there's a lot of talk about him. And I thought he actually made a really good impact in that second half, so I was pretty happy with him.
Same here. And what I do like about him is his power. You saw a couple of times where he's in 50-50s. He wins the ball with his sheer presence and goes on. And like you said, he looks very, very comfortable on the ball. He came into fruition in the latter parts of last season, didn't he, within the youngsters? And obviously he's just signed his first pro contract. And exciting times for him because he looks like he can do something. And very happy with his performance.
Yeah, and there's a lot of excitement around him. So let's see what he's got in store coming up. Next one is Lucas Bergvall. I gave him an 8, you gave him a 9. As I said before, I thought he took a few minutes to grow into that first half. I thought he was rushing things. He was kind of doing a bit too much, maybe playing the ball forward. But once he grew into the game and found his rhythm, started controlling the game, I thought it was phenomenal. And I thought they couldn't handle him. His build-up play was exceptional. His quality from wide areas was really, really good as well. Got 2 assists one assist and 1 kind of half assist with Scarlett as well before. So really promising showing from Lucas Bergvall.
Yeah, I mean, for me, look, again, it was just Hearts, but we have wanted a midfielder that's comfortable on the ball, will move forward, passing forward. Like you said, I think I do completely agree that it took him about 5, 10, maybe even 15 minutes to get a hold of the game and feel happy and confident. But from then, the movement and passing, always looking forward. And the reason I've gone up a point for you is obviously he got the assist for Mikey Moore, but we have gone on for a long time wanting to see crosses into the box early that could trouble defenders, and that cross to Scarlett was on the goddamn money. It was a brilliant cross. Yes, it's hard, whatever, but he's crossing the ball first time, bang, right on the money. It was an exceptional cross. Obviously, it was a save, and then Phillips knocked it in. But I think just seeing the forward movement, the creativity, and then seeing a player out wide, putting it in an early cross like that, I had to give him an extra point just for that cross.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant from Bergvall. And let's hope going forward he can make a really big impact in the season to come. There's a lot of excitement around him. Next one, Alfie Devine. I gave him a 7. Brian gives him an 8. I thought made a really solid impact in that second half. Was not shy to getting on the ball. Played a really nice ball out wide to Werner as well, the outside of his boot. I thought he made a nice impact, Alfie Devine. What did you make out of him?
You know what I'm going to make of this guy. This guy, honestly, I'm so happy for Alfie. Obviously, I've been speaking about him for a good little while. And what I admire with Alfie is, yes, he's capable of doing the flicks, the tricks, the taking on the players. But obviously, there were other players doing that. What I loved with Alfie is obviously the outside of the foot pass to Werner to set up Jed Spence's goal. And just his always availability to be ready to take the ball. There was that pass to Dane Scarlett as well when Dane Scarlett took round the keeper and tried to score. I thought it was a very, very solid display. And my love for Alfie, we're at the moment a lot of time talking about the youngsters that are coming through the youth academy right now and have done a great job for Spurs last season. But Alfie's obviously gone out on loan and kind of his name's been kind of forgotten because he's not part of that crop right now. And I was just delighted for him to actually say, yeah, I'm still a Spurs player. Here I am. This is what I can do. Does he go on loan again this season? Probably. I hope it's to like a Luton, a Watford, a Leeds, someone that will play the football we want him to play. and he'll shine. But if he stays at Tottenham, I'll be delighted as well. And I'm just happy that he got the minutes and took that opportunity. So well done, my boy Alfie.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him as well. Obviously, he's still only 19, so he's still so young and still's got so much potential. And physically, he definitely seems, to be competing at that kind of level as well. So I hope he gets a good championship loan or maybe a lower Premier League loan even next season and can really help develop. Next up on the right wing, Mikey Moore, 8s all round. Really, really impressive showing from the 16-year-old, grabbing a really impressive goal with really good composure, and was a nuisance down the right-hand side throughout the game. I thought he actually linked up with Jed Spence pretty well, was playing some really good balls down the line for Spence to get on the end of, and he was also making some really good runs. So, Mikey Moore, a star in the making and a really impressive showing in pre-season.
Not only that, I mean, something we haven't spoken about, again, is the incredible, amazing Tottenham Hotspur travelling support that were just exceptional as they always are. And for Mikey Moore, having he's one of our own chant come out for a 16-year-old, he must have been buzzing on that. The guy is an absolute menace to play. He's come on as a 16-year-old kid, almost 17, and there's just no fear, is there? There's no nerves. He just grabs the game by the scruff of the neck, comes on, took his goal very, very well. And this guy, especially that he must have all the confidence in the world after the European campaign with England. And he's come back and started doing it for Tottenham. So long may it continue. And another great performance from Mikey.
Absolutely. So exciting. And, the fact he's only 16, the world's at his feet, isn't it? So
Correct.
Let's really hope we got the star in the making here. Next one, Will Lankshear. We both gave him 8s. Was only on the pitch for 20 minutes, but what a 20 minutes it was. Really made a massive impact. Got his goal really well taken into the far corner, in off the side netting, but really showed himself to be a handful, didn't he? Physically holding off defenders, getting in amongst it, being a nuisance, and I thought he really showed what he's all about in this little cameo.
There's nothing more I can say to what you said. He just took the game, had his opportunity, took it. Thank you very much. Job done. I'm delighted that you said, well, when you were saying it may have been pre-planned, because I actually thought he'd gone off with a knock or something. So I'm hoping it's like what you said. And it looked like it might have been pre-planned with the amount of strikers we had. But he came on, had an opportunity. Did he take it? Absolutely.
Absolutely did, and really great for him to carry on that goal scoring form. He actually scored for the under-21s, I believe, a few days ago, off the back of a really impressive PL2 season. Rumours of him going out on loan, but he keeps scoring goals, and at whatever level you put him at. So, be interesting to see how he gets on with the next few friendly games, and if he can make an impact in those games. On the left-hand side, we've got Timo Werner, 6s all round. I thought we saw the best and the worst of Timo Werner in the second half. But there was one point where he got the ball on the left-hand side and just dribbled off the pitch, and just like was classic Timo Werner. And then there was another one where obviously he got that brilliant assist for Ashley Phillips' goal, and a few times he actually created a few chances. I think he created another one for Valise as well down that side. So showed probably why we got him, and also probably showed why we only loaned him.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I will say to him is, like we said about Manor Solomon, his running down the wing is something he is very, very good at. What he does with the ball, like I was saying with Brennan Johnson, looked like the balls were getting into the dangerous areas. Werner, apart from the assist he got, and well done for getting the assist, the balls just weren't put in dangerous areas. They were first men, and there was that one opportunity as well where he should have shot, and it almost went out for a throw-in. And it was like, oh, there you go. That's his finishing, which he desperately needs to work on. But yeah, he got the assist. There's no doubt in his running terrifies wingers or defenders. What doesn't terrify them is what he's going to do with the ball once he's got down the wing, and he needs to work on that.
Yeah, definitely. Some more subs. Alejo Valise came on and only had 10 minutes. We gave him a 6. I actually thought he put himself about quite a lot on those 10 minutes. He had a couple of opportunities. There was one moment where he was back to goal inside the 6-yard box and couldn't quite sort his feet out, and decided to lay it off instead. There was another one where Spence had put a chance on the plate for him, and he was stretching for it, and he blazed it over the bar. And then he went off, I think, with either a nosebleed or it might have been pre-planned, but he definitely did have a nosebleed. Yeah. So a decent cameo, but unfortunately only had 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, again, you could put him and Ashley Phillips in the WWE as a blooming tag team. They are goddamn units. I think there is something in Valise. I do. Not saying I took it from this performance, but I just think for a big, powerful target man, we may see the best of him in a year or two, or hopefully we'll get that time. Only a brief cameo, so what can you do? I think he will go out on loan again. But if he does this time, please Tottenham to an English team, whether it be Championship, whether it be lower Premier League, but give him some minutes in England. And we'll have to see. But yeah, only a brief cameo because of that nosebleed.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, another player similar to Lankshear, definitely physically looks an absolute handful. And last but not least, I believe, is Dane Scarlett. Both gave him sixes. Another player who did have a couple of opportunities. There was one where he rounded the keeper, probably forced the ball a bit too far wide and ended up blazing it over the bar. But again, did actually make a bit of an impact when he came off the bench, didn't he? In a few minutes.
He did, Sim. He did it. But the thing that's got me now is I've been a fan of Scarlett's and thinking once he breaks through, he's going to be there, he's going to do it. But now, looking at it, I'm starting to think Lankshear might even be overtaking him. And Lankshear could be. I really do. He gets his opportunity and takes it. Dane Scarlett has had the minutes. We all know strikers are greedy, and when he took the keeper on and went for goal, there was I can't remember who it was in the centre where he could have just rolled it into them. And yes, strikers need to be greedy, but his development, I thought, would have been a little bit further. Yes, he's had a couple of loan moves where he hasn't been used correctly, and maybe that's where his progression hasn't moved forward. But he's starting to get a few opportunities and minutes at Tottenham, and he's not grabbing them by the scruff of the neck. Where you look at Lankshear, comes on, has an X amount of time to do it, comes on, he needs to make an imprint on the game, and he's taking these opportunities where I fear Scarlett may be, this is just my opinion, maybe the one, if it continues like this, to look for a loan and Lankshear stay.
That'll be an interesting prospect considering, again, there was a lot of excitement around Scarlett, but these other youth players seem to, maybe it's because they've played together a lot more and maybe they're more used to each other, but they seem to be at the moment performing when they get those opportunities, whereas Scarlett still trying to find his feet. But look, that is all we have for player ratings today. A mammoth 24-man player ratings. Thank you so much, Brian Daigle, for helping me out with that one. If you want to see more of Brian, do check out Tottenham on Tour. Link will be in the title of this video. But that's all we have for player ratings. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.